friendship is actually a lovely way in which we can, even in small ways, bridge these differences. We hope that that is part of what the audiences can be inspired by Luca. So Luca is a story about a kid who is really shy and timid and struggling to even kind of chase the world around him. But he meets this friend, this troublemaker friend, who enables him to be really himself, which is really curious and wanting to see the world. So he starts embracing that thanks to his good friend. But there's one major problem. They are two sea monsters and they are curious about the human world. So this is a very dangerous situation. They are in love with this human world for all its strangeness and diversity, but they're also in terrible danger every time they're. So the movie is really about their adventure on land and the way they really help each other and the way that friendship really ultimately makes Luca grow up and find his identity. That's really the core of the movie, is speaking about the friends that help us find ourselves.
Ça va être le plus bel été de toute notre vie. On ira décrocher les étoiles. On fera le tour du monde. Ce sera fantastique. Mais à une condition.
Wow, qu'est-ce que c'était?
Personne ne doit le savoir.
The wonderful friendship that I have with my best friend inspired Luca and the main relationship of our movie. My best friend name is really Alberto. We kept the same name in the movie. And I met him when I was around 12 and I was shy. I was a timid Luca-like character. And he was someone who was very passionate and he was very free. His family wasn't around much. So that kind of difference and the way that he challenged me to challenge my fears and kind of take chances is something that made me really want to talk about the way that friends help us find ourselves and help us challenge us. So that really experience of this friendship was something that made me want to make this movie. Also the way that those friends sometimes we have to let go of because we all grow up, and actually thanks to them, we grow up and then go our separate ways. So there's this bittersweet sense of having to carry these friendships in our heart and having to be friends from afar. For a few reasons. One, that this is a kid's world and it wants to be playful. And two, because I think it's just lovely to kind of represent this world that we want you to visit and be immersed in a very expressive way, in a poetic way, in a lyrical way. So the waves, if we made them all perfect, it would be a ton of little droplets or almost too much detail. So we try to really simplify them in beautiful designed circles. And for me, there's something about simplification. When is less more? And how do we bring a sense of something being handmade? There's just a charm and a warmth that I really thought is important to bring to the computer, which can sometimes be very realistic and a little colder. What I loved about each one of the 10 finalists is how diverse the experiences of a childhood heart, but also how universal they are. Playfulness, imagination, and this sense of filling our world with this point of view of wonder. I love how there was that sense of being with friends, but also seeing the world through eyes that are seeing things that aren't there, but imagining things. I think so many of the beautiful illustrations were really creating worlds. I was really also impressed in how talented everybody is. It's just beautifully rendered images from teenagers. That's really, really wonderful. I'm excited for this generation to come and tell their stories. One of the main theme of the movie that Luca goes through is a change in kind of dealing with his confidence issues. I hope that kids can find great friends that see them for who they are, friends they can be vulnerable with and be themselves with, and friends that can tell them we can do this together, as opposed to friends that maybe are feeding those insecurities. It felt important to talk about otherness in this moment where we do need to find common grounds. And I do feel that the sense of curiosity that our protagonist has seems to me at the heart of finding a bridge between different people and different point of views. There's just a basic idea in the movie that our differences make us fearful of each other. Friendship is actually a lovely way in which we can, even in small ways, bridge these differences. We hope that is part of what the audiences can be inspired by Luca. I think mostly we grew up with a lot of Japanese animation in the 80s. That's where I grew up in Genova, and we watched so many cartoons. I still remember Future Boy Conan as being a key one that I absolutely loved. I realized a year later Miyazaki was behind it. That was just a big influence. I think it's part of the reason why I love animation, and ultimately made me look for a career in the industry.